Tonight, a high-profile corruption scandal hit the National Food and Buffer Stock Company with former CEO Hanan Abdul-Wahab and his wife Faiza Seidu Wuni facing charges over the theft of 78 million Ghana cedis from operating a sophisticated criminal enterprise.
They ran this criminal enterprise under the pretext of supplying food items to schools under the school feeding program. 7 entities linked to Abdul-Wahab and his wife were used as vehicles to receive and to launder the proceeds of crime from Buffer Stock Company. He exited Buffer Stock in December 2024 with a salary of 28,000 per month. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do your mathematics.
Meanwhile, the former Buffer Stock CEO, we bring you details of that, of how Hanan Abdul-Wahab allegedly orchestrated the theft and the nature of the transactions involved as the Attorney General Dominic Ayine vows to confiscate all assets acquired with stolen money.
The couple purchased a 3-bedroom house at Cantonments, a 17-bedroom boutique hotel at Gumani. There is a 4-bedroom bungalow situated at Jolo. The wife has over 61 luxury bags. He himself was buying watches, some costing as much as 1.5 million.
Meanwhile, the former Buffer Stock CEO has denied the AG's corruption allegations in a strongly worded statement, describing the claims as, quote, untrue, deeply unfortunate. We have details coming up next year on Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel. Connecting Energies, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Enjoy a holy sleep, and also by Shield Pension Trust. Into the future with you. Well, in a stunning revelation, the Attorney General Dominic Ayine has revealed that the former CEO of the National Buffer Stock Company, Hanan Abdul-Wahab, and his wife, Faiza Seidu Wuni, will face charges over the theft of a staggering 78 million Ghana cedis from the company. The AG's office alleges that Abdul-Wahab operated a sophisticated criminal enterprise using his position to orchestrate the transfer of funds to a private company linked to him and his wife. Speaking at the government's accountability series at the Jubilee House, the AG says its investigations revealed a trail of luxury properties and assets acquired with the stolen funds, including high-end real estate and a 17-bedroom boutique hotel. The AG has vowed to confiscate all assets acquired with the ill-gotten wealth. My colleague Papani Ashale joins me in studio with more details as presented by the AG. Papa, now, first of all, what are the charges against Hanan Abdul-Wahab and his wife Faiza Seidu Wuni?
Well, Brace, the Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine would believes that this is a well-layered, orchestrated crime of a sort for which is going to the court very soon to file formal charges, by sort of giving us a hint as to what exactly he will be charging them with. And he says that, well, Hanan and his wife Faiza Seidu Wuni will be charged with several offenses, including stealing, conspiracy to steal, willfully causing financial loss to the state, using public office for profit, obtaining public property by false statements, and again, money laundering here. He says that these charges relate to the theft of about 78 million 269,084 Ghana cedis and some 4 pesos from the National Bank and Buffer Stock, National Food and Buffer Stock Company. Kojo Brace.
How did Hanan Abdul-Wahab allegedly orchestrate that theft, and what was the nature of the transactions involved?
Well, Kojo Brace, again, we know that the Attorney General, who says that the Iyoko was one of the leading groups that was doing some of these investigations, sort of in their investigation saw a well-layered and well-thought-through plan to take money from a state institution, which is the buffer stock company, and also to handing it over through a chain of companies. That all the way will boils down to the final items that some of them use the money to. I'll try to walk you through some of them. But to summarize, well, we know that according to the Attorney General, Hanan Abdul, and while working with others, orchestrated the transfer of about 78 million Ghana cedis from the bank accounts of Buffer Stock Company to a private company linked to him and his wife, known as Sortina Enterprise. The payments were allegedly for food supplies made to schools under the school feeding program. However, the investigations by Yoko revealed that only about 27 million Ghana cedis of the 78 million Ghana cedis of payments that were made to Sortina were backed by supplies. Essentially, the Attorney General is telling us that just 27,000 of those supplies allegedly went to the schools or could be verified. We can listen to the Attorney General as he walks us through in details how exactly this scheme was all put together.
Now to the rumble in the jungle. Initial estimates put the amount of money pilfered by Mr. Abdul-Wahab and his collaborators at the time at around 58 million Ghana cedis, far in excess of the 49 million suspected to have been stolen by Mr. Edubohin and his co-accused persons. I call the criminal enterprise operated by Abdul-Wahab and his collaborators at Buffer Stock the rumble in the jungle. Between 2017 and 2024, Mr. Abdul-Wahab colluded with his wife, Faiza Seidu Wuni, Richard Sam, head of finance, Bismarck Ousu Boache, finance department, and Emmanuel Atta, corporate affairs manager, and others to create an elaborate criminal enterprise that was used to steal and launder public funds from the Buffer Stock Company. Within the period between 2017 and 2024, Mr. Abdul-Wahab, in concert with Richard Sam Asante and Bismarck Ousu Boache, orchestrated a transfer of 78,269,084 Ghana cedis and 4 pesos from the bank accounts of Buffer Stock Company to a private company linked to Hanan Abdul-Wahab, his wife, and staff of Buffer Stock at Republic Bank and EcoBank. Similarly, evidence shows that between December 2017 and May 2019, Hanan Abdul-Wahab transferred 5,495,780 Ghana cedis and 36 pesos from Buffer Stock Company accounts to 2 bank accounts belonging to Aludiba Enterprise. Aludiba Enterprise is not a registered supplier of Buffer Stock Company. The evidence gathered so far shows that they ran this criminal enterprise under the pretext of supplying food items to schools under the school feeding program. Ladies and gentlemen, 7 entities linked to Abdul-Wahab and his wife were used as vehicles to receive and to launder the proceeds of crime from Buffer Stock Company. Bank documents obtained by EOCO revealed that within the period that the suspects operated this criminal enterprise, Mr. Abdul-Wahab and his wife and their entities became the largest depositors at Republic Bank, and the branch was at Labone branch. Investigations established that in 2018, Sortina Enterprise, an entity owned by James Atieko Apau, applied to become a licensed supplier to the Buffer Stock Company. This application was approved by his boss, Hanan Abdul-Wahab, knowing very well that the approval placed James Atieko Apau in a conflict of interest situation. Documentary evidence from bank accounts of Buffer Stock revealed that between 2018 and 2024, Buffer Stock transferred a total of 78,369,082 cedis and 4 pesos to Sortina Enterprises bank account at EcoBank and Republic Bank respectively. The payments were supposedly to pay for food supplies made by Sortina to schools under the school feeding program. Verified records, including way bills and store receipt vouchers from Buffer Stock, however, indicated that only 27,389,872 cedis out of the payments to Sortina were backed by supplies. A review of Sortina bank account revealed that the bulk of the payments which Buffer Stock made to Sortina Enterprises bank accounts, about 98% of the over 78 million, were instantly retransferred to Alkani Enterprise, Fahauza Ventures, and other entities owned and controlled by or affiliated to Hanan Abdul-Wahab and Faiza Seidu Wuni, his wife. Under interrogation, Mr. Atiekwa Apau stated that although some of the funds received into Sortina's EcoBank and Republic Bank accounts were for the few genuine supplies backed by waybills and store receipt vouchers, in most instances, no supplies were made, but he noticed that Buffer Stock kept making payments to his company, Sortina Enterprise. He also admitted that other third-party companies, which our investigations have established to be licensed buying companies or suppliers to Buffer Stock, also made several payments into Sortina's account. He said he neither knew the promoters of these companies, nor did his company have any business dealing with them. He further explained that whenever such payments were deposited in Sortina's account, he was prompted by Hanan Abdul-Wahab to expect the transfer and was later instructed on where to move or retransfer the funds. A review of some of the retransfers of the funds paid to Sortina Enterprise by Buffer Stock Company revealed as follows. From Sortina Enterprise to Hanan Abdul-Wahab, 60,179,137 Ghana cedis. Sortina Enterprise to Alkani, 23,913,964 Ghana cedis and 90 pesos. From Sortina Enterprise to Fahauza, 500,000 Ghana cedis. Sortina Enterprise to Chain Homes, 550,000.
So that's, the AG detailing how this whole mechanism was put in place. But Papa, what assets, or did he review the asset that have been acquired with these alleged stolen funds? And what actions did the Attorney General say will be taking to recover these assets?
Well, the Attorney General in that news conference disclosed that the couple used the funds to acquire several high-end properties, including a 5-bedroom house bought from Chain Homes Limited at a cost of 1.625 million, not cedis, but in dollars. A 3-bedroom house at Cantonments from a Golden Coast developer at a cost of $600,000. And the AG goes ahead to talk about in some properties that they got. In fact, the architects were different, some of them overseas. The developers were in the country, also paid in dollars. In fact, at some point, a state land or government land was also bought in an original name of some other woman, which was later transferred to Hanan, and then later again another transfer to the wife of Hanan. We can listen to the Attorney General.
A 5-bedroom house bought from Chain Homes Limited, between February 2019 and December 2020 at a cost of $1,625,000. The couple purchased a 3-bedroom house at Cantonments from Golden Coast Developers Limited at a cost of $600,000 United States of American dollars, using two of their companies, Fahauza Ventures, owned by the wife, and Fahauza Company Limited, owned jointly by the couple. Between October 2019 and February 2021, the couple purchased plots at Fanali's airport development site for $750,000 United States of American dollars. The total payments were made in cash in the name of Faiza Seidu Wuni. Subsequently, in July 2021, Faiza Seidu Wuni signed a contract with a construction company, Mendeha and Souza Construction Limited, at a cost of $691,650 United States of American dollars to construct the shell and the core of the building. This excludes the cost of architectural designs from Ansara Architecture Pty Limited, based in South Africa. The building sitting on Trade Plus is now estimated to be valued at $2,500,000 United States of American dollars. The couple also purchased 0.32 acres of government land from one Anthony Duke Essien. Duke Essien used his sister, Antoinette Chibodako, a staff of the Dankwa Institute, as a front to purchase from the Ministry of Lands and the Ministry of Lands and the Lands Commission at a price of 307,200 Ghana cedis. Duke Essien then instantly sold the land to Hanan Abdul-Wahab and received about 2,567,000 Ghana cedis. Antoinette then wrote to the Lands Commission in March 2020 to instruct them that the lease should be in the name of Hanan Abdul-Wahab. In May 2020, she made a U-turn and wrote to the Lands Commission to withdraw the documents bearing the name of Hanan Abdul-Wahab and now replaced it with the name of the wife, Faiza Seidu Wuni. The couple developed 4 units of 4-bedroom apartments on the said land. Other properties acquired by the couple are as follows: a 17-bedroom boutique hotel at Gumani in Tamale, in respect of which the couple used Faiza Company Limited to sign a franchise with Villa Monticello for the price of $250,000. In other words, $250,000. There is a 4-bedroom bungalow situated at Jolo, Accra, valued at 4.1 million cedis. 3-story building, that is Chicken Republic, the Chicken Republic building in Tamale, situated at Estate Junction, Tamale. 5-bedroom mansion at Canville, Dorado Street, Tamale. 3-bedroom house, Palissy, Tamale. 1-story building, number 10 Selby Gardens, Achimota, Accra. Then a 0.27 acre plot of land, Estate Junction, Tamale. 0.29 acre of land, close to Workers College, Tamale.
Well, Papa, according to the AG, how did Abdul-Wahab, a public servant, afford such luxury properties and assets given his salary?
Well, he's told us that at least he's interviewed both of them. And for Abdul Hanan, he tells us that Abdul Hanan, at the time of being working as Buffer Stock CEO in 2017, he was earning around 17,000 Ghana cedis. 8 years later, after 2024, when he was exiting office, his salary was somewhere around 24,000, 28,000 Ghana cedis. And then they interviewed his wife, who said that she was a housewife and her husband was sort of paying her or giving her 5,000 Ghana cedis a month. But we are talking about properties worth millions of dollars. And therefore, the AG comes to the conclusion that there's more in this. It also talks about what other things they use some of these monies to buy. That the wife owned luxury bags. The husband also bought luxury watches, some of which more than 1 million cedis.
When interrogated, Faiza Wuni, the wife of Hanan, said she was a housewife being paid 5,000 Ghana cedis a month by the husband. So that is the legitimate income that we know. We have also taken note of the legitimate earnings of Hanan Abdul-Wahab when he was appointed. His initial salary from 2017 was 14,000 Ghana cedis, a little above 14,000 Ghana cedis. He exited Buffer Stock in December 2024 with a salary of 28,000 per month. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do your mathematics, all right? And there are no other sources of legitimate earnings apart from these that I have named. Do your mathematics and tell me, in good faith, whether a couple earning this amount of money can buy a house costing 1.6 million United States of American dollars at chain homes. That is the question, not for the gods, but for us as citizens to be able to answer, and answer very well through the accountability process. We have frozen all the assets of Hanan that I have listed, including a 10 million Ghana cedis fixed deposit account at Republic Bank, Labone branch. That is the liquid assets. They also, had a lot of bags. I didn't want to list them. The wife has over 61 luxury bags, all right? Name them. He himself was buying watches, some costing as much as 1.5 million Ghana cedis and so on. We have taken note of all of them. And so we've done the freezing, including those of the vehicles.
Well, so those are the details provided by the Attorney General. But do we know when the charges will be filed and what's the next step in the proceedings?
The Attorney General announced that the charges against Hanan Abdul-Wahab and his wife, Faiza Seidu Wuni, will be filed on Friday, October 24, 2025. The AG's office will then proceed with the criminal proceedings aiming to confiscate the assets acquired with the funds to the state.
Now, in a strongly worded statement, the former National Food and Buffer Stock Company CEO Hanan Abdul-Wahab has vehemently denied allegations of corruption made by the Attorney General Dominic Ayine. Abdul-Wahab described the claims as quote-unquote untrue and deeply unfortunate, asserting that he has no involvement in the issues being referred to. He says he has instructed his lawyers to review the situation and to take necessary steps to protect his reputation, and express confidence that the truth will be revealed in court, where he looks forward to presenting his side of the story. So that is the side that coming from Hanan Abdul-Wahab there. This is Top Story, brought to you by Telecel, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil, and then Shield Pension Trust. Let me bring in Faiza Azim, who is an anti-corruption campaigner. Grateful to you, Mr. Azim, for joining us here. Now, how does this revelations come to you as an anti-corruption campaigner?
Hello?
Hello? Mr. Azim, can you hear me, Mr. Azim?
Yes.
Yes.
It's Martin.
Okay, so I want to start with you, Mr. Faiza Azim. Mr. Azim, as an anti-corruption campaigner, how does these revelations by the AG come to you?
My first impression, I have a very good impression about the type of corruption investigation that was done. It's so impressive. The way they are able to identify all these assets, their locations. It's so surprising that a government institution can carry out these investigations and uncover all these things. Now it's left to the same government institution to try to prove this in court that they were illegal, they were acquired through illegal means. And of course, as you have read, the accused person will definitely come out to deny. And so the Attorney General has a very big task to go. But it is very painful that public individuals, you see, sometimes we used to think that they take these monies maybe for the government, party in power, that's why they don't pursue them. But these assets are acquired in individual names, their own names. So I just don't know how to look at it, because it's so surprising and painful that this is what is happening in this country. People are just siphoning state resources into their personal pockets, allegedly anyway.
But it begs the question, how come nobody flagged this sort of corruption that was happening then?
Yeah, that is the other side of it. Because each institution is supposed to have an internal audit unit, or at least an internal auditor, that should even be able to prevent any transactions taking place that are not legal. So you wonder, how did this happen? And they are withdrawing the funds from a public account. So you wonder, how are they able to do this without anybody noticing it or discovering it? And that's why there's a need for further investigations. And it should not just be the people that have taken these monies that should be prosecuted. It should be possible to look at who slept on his job, or even connived and condoned in the acts that led to these corrupt practices.
But year in, year out, after every government, these matters come up. Would there
Can you raise your voice?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, it's better.
I'm saying that year in, year out, after every government, these matters come up. What must we do to ensure that we really nip this matter or these kind of issues in the bud?
It is such that, you see, corruption is a very difficult thing to deal with. We have the laws in place, we have the institutions in place, yet we are not able to deal effectively with this, because we tend to politicize these corruption acts. And the people that are supposed to ensure that these acts don't take place are sometimes either actively participating, or they just turn a blind eye to what is happening. And that's why we are not able to deal with it. So how can we deal with it? We would probably have to enforce the laws. And the the individuals that are supposed to enforce the laws to may have a problem. They may be involved, and so all the investigations, future investigations, must also cover the people that are supposed to monitor and ensure that these acts don't happen. We should not just look at the institutions themselves, but the other institutions that are supposed to monitor and ensure that these things are avoided. And then, of course, the sanctions must be stiff and harsh. If it's found that you have done any of these acts, then you should be strictly punished.
Mr. Azim, I'm grateful to you for your time here on our show.
Okay.
Let me bring in lawyer Martin Pegbu. He was a member of the oral team. We understand that this whole work emanated from the work that they did. Martin, I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us here. Now, this issue is about the law, and usually the person who has to prove this is on the AG, right? If you look at it, really, what can we do about the law such that these matters, we wouldn't be hearing or listening to them because these are just too much?
Wow. Kojo, as for the first part, that we will not hear such matters again, it looks like it's a long shot because deviance will always be with us from Adam and Eve. Okay, even in the advanced countries, even in Singapore, where they are very harsh on corruption, in China, where people are killed for corruption, even in Ghana here, when we killed some heads of state, a FIFA, a champion, etc., it didn't raid the country of corruption. So it tells you that it will continue to be with that, but we can do a lot to stem it. So let's see how we can tighten the laws. Number one would be the asset declaration law. You see that the current law we have is not fit for purpose. It's outdated. This kind of asset declaration law that verification is not done, and then the assets are not published. That's when the public servant declares his assets. It's not published. We used to do that under the military regime. PNDC law, is it 280? Yeah, we had a law like that. We also need to change the bring in the reverse burden, so that, Article 286, Clause 4, which says that if we find you with any property and you cannot explain it by way of income, inheritance, loan, or gift, is deemed to have been illegally acquired. Let's use that provision to pass an act of parliament around the corruption offenses, so that once we find the people with the assets, classical case, Sicily Adapa, you see it, then it's your burden to prove. We have a bit of it in the Anti-Money Laundering Act, but that's for only anti-money laundering. Let's extend it to the corruption offenses. Then we'll be making progress, so that they will have the burden of explaining how they got it. If they can't explain, then it's corrupt money. We also need to bring this new law that Daniel Dominic Ayine has been championing, Fair Trial Act, that will say that if you start a case, you must finish in, let's say, a year and a half or maximum 2 years, so that every Ghanaian knows that, this Mustafa Walai case went to court, let's say, July, so and so. Then we know that in 2 years it must come to an end. So the judge knows that come rain or shine, it must finish within 2 years. So the judge would then be able to plan well with the lawyers and say, look, this is the timeline. You all must fit in, right? And then it can be done. But currently, it takes a lot from some judges who have to use a lot of, for lack of a better word, force, to force lawyers that, look, I'm sitting every day. Whether you come here or not, the case will go on, and then even sometimes as lawyers, then we think those judges are harsh, etc. So we, even in the profession, we need a mindset change. So if the law comes, it will help a lot. So we all know the definite period. If this case starts today, it must end on a certain date, very clear, black and white, and that will move us forward. There are other changes we can make. I don't know if we have time to continue.
Grateful to you, and this is what time would allow us, but there will be still much more wherever you are. This has been Top Story brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Enjoy holy sleep and Shield Pension Trust into the future with you. Up next is Newsnight.